You are watching William Patterson University Television.
Good afternoon and welcome back to SFA Presents, where we exhibit the works of the talented filmmakers here at William Patterson University. I am your host, Johanca, Vallejo, and today we are celebrating the works of 4 young talented students. Joining me today we have Matthew Martinez and Jamie Sharpe on my right, Jeremy Jones and Joe Greco to my left, and this is the Directors Roundtable. All right, you guys, welcome back. All right,
we were just here.
Oh my God,
I know. Crazy.
It's weird.
I didn't get to shower.
All right,
wearing the same clothes,
so let's get a little bit more personal now. What do you love about this field?
You guys go first.
Oof.
Okay.
Okay. Well, how much time do we have? I'll keep it quick.
30 seconds.
What do I love about this? Well, it wasn't, honestly, when I came to college, it wasn't my number one prerogative. I originally wanted to be more of a film person, ironically, because I was always into editing. I never filmed my own stuff, which is kind of the point, but I would take, clips from movies or whatever and just mash them together. But editing is what I kind of wanted to do, and obviously I still kind of do that, but when I came here and I saw this, the facilities with the TV, and I started getting more involved in TV club stuff, I was like, wow, I like this a lot better. It suits me better. Not respect to both. It just suits me better. It's more of I don't know, it's more of it fits my, I don't even know what to call it.
Well, your personality, right?
Yeah,
it
fits personality better.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I'm not the creative type. I just think you need to be more creative to do film. But I don't know. It just suits me better. That's what I say. So I love it quite a bit.
I guess for me, it's just the challenge of it, having to organize people, getting everyone together, sitting everyone down and be like, okay, this is what the show's gonna look like today, guys. I need these graphics to come up this time, and I need the audio to come up this, and I need these people on set, and we need to do this in one take, hopefully. Or we're going to be here all night. Well, with how we do it here anyway. If you're doing it in real life, it's, you got one chance at this, and if you screw it up, you're done. You're fired. But that's the fun of it. That's the challenge. I love that challenge. I love that intensity. I love being in the middle of that moment, just if something goes wrong, you have to push past it. You cannot hang on that. Yep. And I've caught myself hanging out before as a director. I know you've done it before. It's nerve-wracking, but once you get past it and you learn to just push through that and move on to the next thing you're doing, to the next part of the rundown, it flows, and it's so rewarding. Yep.
Well, for me, I just love telling stories. I love storytelling in general. 90% of my day, I'm just in my own little world, either reading a book, listening to music, watching a movie. So when I graduated high school in 2014, I wasted 3 years of my life at Bergen Community College. Then once I got here in 2017, I joined the film club. Ever since then, I made my own stuff. I was helping other people make their own stuff, and I just love the collaboration between everybody.
Yeah, like Joe said, filming is a really creative field. I love being creative. I love writing stories like Matt. Definitely my favorite part about the film industry is seeing a story go from just a piece of paper to something amazing on screen. I like with film that you can literally make a movie with either $1 million budget or a $0 budget with the most expensive camera in the world, or your iPhone. Yeah, literally.
Okay, you know what? I think that for me it's a really, really hard decision, because I feel like I love both fields so much that I really cannot pick a side. I think this is gonna be really tough for me. And here we are in a TV studio talking about both TV and film. I'm gonna pass it for this one, because I feel like
you gotta choose one.
I think you
can't leave here today.
I think you gotta.
Can't leave here
in that
today.
situation.
Break the tie.
I'm gonna say TV.
You're dead to me.
I know. Okay. So all right. So here's the thing. So television is there's so much emotion to it. There's so much oh my God, let's get this done right now, in the control room, and whereas film is all right, guys, let's take our time. We're still on a time constraint, but let's do what we got to do, and let's get this going. It's a lot of fun to see the outcome of something that you've built from such a long time for film. I feel like that when you see the outcome, you're just really proud. I mean, out of both. However, All right, so let us talk inspirations now. Who or what inspired you to go into this film, into this field?
First this time.
Yeah, I'll toss it to you guys
Oh,
first.
me? Okay, I'll start. So in high school, I took oh wow, I literally forgot the name of the class, but it was a writing class, and I had to write poetry stories in there, and I was like one of the top students in there. So I'm thinking like, oh man, maybe I should do this. And then I want to do film, and one of those people, and then I started watching movies more intently now, like okay, I gotta watch it to see how it was made. And like I have like 4 favorite directors right now, and one of them is David Fincher. He's a really good guy. He did Fight Club, Social Network, and what else he did? He did Benjamin Button. He does a whole lot. I just love the way he moves the camera. Like he gets the camera on the actor or actress, and like he'll have them move with them, basically. And I just like his style. Basically, the mood he puts in the movie, like it's like a punk rock mood, anything like that. It's dark. There are other guys too. Denis Villeneuve, he's actually my top one. He just did the Blade Runner movie, and I just love how he collaborates with everyone, like with the music and the cinematographer. Him and Roger Deakins just knocked their movies out of the park. And there's also Bong Joon-ho. I hope I said that right. He's Korean. He just did Okja, which came out on Netflix 2 years ago, I think, and it's a really cute movie about a super pig and the little girl who has to go save it because he got captured. And then he did other movies, which called Memories of Murder. That was his first. I think it was his first movie, and that just basically, I just fell in love with cinema right there. I'm sorry, I just love it so much. I can't say I can't say a lot about it. And I'm on TV. I'm on the spot right now, but whatever. And but actually, there's a TV director right now who I really like. His name's Hiro Murai. If you've seen Atlanta, he directed most of the episodes of that show, and I just love it. He's starting to branch out there. He's going to do a movie with Rihanna and Childish Gambino coming up soon. I'm very excited for that.
Okay.
Me next? All right. So mine's kind of a little different, but I always did grow up with like a video camera. I always used to play with my dad's like camcorder, but my inspiration was actually this YouTuber named Shadow Leggy. She made like little animated cartoons of this this video game that I used to like be obsessed with. And one day I just decided, oh, let me like try drawing it on paint. I realized I wasn't good at animation, but I did like creating characters. I did like creating stories.
There she is.
Yeah, it's a really old video. I actually commented on one of her YouTube videos recently, and she responded back. Like I said something along the lines of, "You're my inspiration. I went to film school just because of you. You started this whole thing." And she responded. She was like very happy and honored. But yeah, like something as simple as like little cartoons and me trying to draw them triggered like my passion for making stories and movies.
Now, did that make you want to go into like animation? Because I mean,
Originally, yes, I did want to like create characters, see them move, but I was not good at that. But I was good at kind of figuring out what I wanted to do with them if I was actually able to animate them.
Yeah, yeah, that's quite interesting. Quite interesting.
For me, I kind of just fell into this. I don't really have like a set inspiration because this was never the goal. This was never what I was going to be doing. I thought I was going to be playing football. I thought I was going to be, after that, probably end up, if I didn't make it as a player, I was probably going to end up working in like a mechanic shop or something because that's who I was. I was someone who worked with his hands and someone who just worked on a team and was just doing something.
You know what's funny about that? It's still
it's
you're
still
still
TV.
doing that.
It's what TV
still
is.
hands-on and
Minus
still working in a
tackling.
team.
Exactly.
On most days.
Exactly. But that's kind of like why I fell in love with TV so much, is because it's that environment, it's that intense environment of having to do everything right, otherwise it's gonna fail.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, I love that pressure. I love feeling that pressure in that moment, and then once you've done it and it's all good and good to go. I said good a lot there. It's so euphoric to feel it afterward and just look at the finished product you have, and you're like, I made this. Mm-hmm. This is because of me. It's so rewarding.
That's true. I definitely agree with that.
For me, I'll get into specifics. Like everybody's, when you get into starting to think of things in not I don't want to say a cynical way, but like in a more in-depth way, like Matt was saying, he pays more intently to movies now. When I started doing it, I took a production class in high school, and the teacher I had was strictly TV, so we did our own mini, I don't know what you want to call it, commercials, I guess, in class and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was, it looked like, didn't look like this. It was the same 3-camera setup, just not as advanced, that didn't close at all.
Yeah.
But you know, and since then, you kind of just you watch TV with more of a myopic, more of like a a sense, more of like, oh, that's cool. How did they do that? Or I wonder if I can do that. So like a show that like kind of always caught my attention with that, especially because it's always live, was Saturday Night Live, and the director of that was a guy named Don Roy King, who's born. He's like in his 70s and still doing it. He's been doing it since 2006, which is crazy. And you know, when you watch SNL, obviously it's called Saturday Night Live, so obviously it's live. That's a show where I feel like, comedy, especially catching comedy, and people sometimes ad-lib things. Obviously there's a script and you know it, but on a show like that, you kind of have to catch, you also have to have a feeling of where it's going. Like, because you're working with actors that are comedians. The comedians go off script all the time. They're not always strictly to what they're reading. You know, you have to catch what's happening in the moment. And like when I'm watching that, I think that's cool. I think it's like, oh, this person is truly invested in what's going on, and they have such a good eye as to what's being said and to what people are going to like to see, people are going to want to see. It's also got to be in the director's head of like, oh, I'm broadcasting this to millions upon millions of people around the world, around the country, around the world, and like I have to decide what I think they want to see.
Well, you know what's also really like funny about SNL is that there's no topic that they can't cover.
Exactly.
You know, and it's such a good feeling for you to just sit down at home, you know, on Saturday night, put on Saturday Night Live, and they're making fun of Donald Trump or somebody else. You know, it's just like the comedy of it is just like there's no boundaries whatsoever.
Yeah, and that show in specific ranges in terms of not just comedy, but like they have musical acts. Yeah. Directing music and directing comedy and directing the news, all three of which they do. Yeah. Like even though it's a fake news, but it's still the news, it looks the same. Like, oh hey, there's a guy on the left, there's a guy on the right, I'm gonna tape that guy with a OTS. That's the news. That's what real life news is, like obviously, and they do all three. So that's another thing I admire from that. That's why I've always tried to just look at it how that person would.
Okay, I think for me, I definitely have to talk about Brad Bird. He has done Ratatouille, The Incredibles, which is a fan favorite of everybody, right? It takes us back to like our younger years, 2004 and whatnot, when we were all little kids. I think it's just amazing the way that he does well, not only is he a director, he's a screenwriter, a producer, and a voice actor also. It's just kind of amazing. For you to have all those traits under your belt, it's just like, you're a gem, right? They say a triple threat. He's more like a quadruple threat or whatever the fifth thing is, right? But from going to Ratatouille is like one of my favorite movies. What I feel like he did with that film is just like, you try to take a rat and humanize it. Can you do that? No. Ratatouille was just like such a beautiful movie. It's a children's film, but it's very inspirational, I feel like, for me. I felt like I really wanted to go into animation for some reason. Yeah. I'm still working on it, but definitely still like it. So I just want to really wrap it up and go ahead and say, I really want to know what your advice is, for people who are going into this field. Do you have any sort of advice?
We've both reiterated that, it's a business. Television is a world where you mess up. Listen, nobody's perfect. It happens all the time in the real world. In here, you're gonna run into roadblocks all throughout your career. Yeah. You're gonna get yelled at. There's no avoiding that. But the way I think of it is like, if you don't mess up, what are you learning? Yeah, and if you don't get yelled at, people don't care about you. Yeah. They wouldn't yell at you if you weren't essential. They would be like,
that's true.
People yell at you because they think you can do better.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. What do you guys think on the end of film?
Well, basically the same thing. If you want to get into film, pick up a camera, make something. If you feel like that film was a failure, get back up, do another movie, learn from your mistake.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would definitely agree with the both of you. But unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. This wraps up this SFA Presents episode. Thank you so much to Matthew, Jamie, Jeremy, and Joe for being here with us. Thank you to our cast and crew, Alec, Clarke, our studio manager, and thank you to everyone for watching. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at Student Film Association, and tune in for the next upcoming show.